ترحبوا معي with my colleague شهد، صفقة كبيرة لها.
شكراً نواف. In modern design, architects tend to leave a room for errors within their designs for the public and the user to interact with in a very unexpected way. For that, pavilions can be an ideal platforms that serves as an effective prototypes. In this session, we will explore how pavilions are valuable tools for experimenting with public interaction, materials, and craftsmanship. It is a very honor for me on a personal level to moderate this session with the three brilliant architects who we collaborated with for this year. First of all, allow me to introduce our first speaker, the beautiful Judith Deri. She's an architect and co-founder of Scene Architects Studio based in Riyadh. Welcome. Second, Dr. Christoph Kurola. He's an architect and associate dean at Hong Kong University. Dr. Christoph, please. Last but not least, Javier Piana. He's an architect and founder of Concentrico Festival, which is an international architectural festival based in Logroño, Spain.
That's your clicker.
You're good? Okay. Yeah. As I said, I'm very delighted and happy to be part of this session. But before we start our discussion, I'd like to give a quick couple of minutes for each one of you to speak about their experience, their background, and our collaboration or your collaboration with Ithra. So maybe we can start with Njoud.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Nujud Steri. I'm a partner and co-founder at Scene Architects. We are an interdisciplinary architecture studio based in Riyadh. We work on a multitude of scales, from small community-based cultural projects, site-specific interventions, and larger sort of infrastructural buildings. We have collaborated with Ithra this year on a pavilion at Concentrico in Logroño in Spain, and we've brought the pavilion back to Ithra. You can see it in the courtyard outside, and it's been a very interesting journey and sort of an interesting circle where materials have traveled as well.
And a very interesting story, actually.
Yes.
Maybe we can tell it to the public later on. Second, Dr. Christoph.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christoph Krola. Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be back at Ithra. So I am an architect. I have a practice. I'm from Belgium originally, but I'm based in Hong Kong, where my practice, called Laboratory for Explorative Architecture and Design, has been involved in a wide range of architecture and art and pavilion projects. I'm also an academic. I'm Associate Dean at the University of Hong Kong in the Faculty of Architecture, where I teach and do research in a lab called the Building Complexity Lab. And I've had the pleasure of being part of several very exciting events with Ithra. During COVID, on Zoom, I chaired the Pavilion Challenge that led to the Fazila project, the beautiful project that's been shown in many places across the country. And this July, I was very happy to be back here in person for the first time in the very, very hot summer heat to chair another pavilion challenge, which you will see soon. The pavilion is going to be built in the next couple of days here. And now here we're doing a small workshop on augmented reality that you can always come and check out later today or tomorrow. We're doing it in the back of the Children's Museum area. So yeah, very, very happy to be here in person again. Thank you.
We're happy as well. Please, Javier.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me. Maybe some of you may know me from last year because I was visiting Ithra too, and this is an example, a great example about what we do in Concentrico. This kind of collaborations between institutions who are involved in design, who are part of the local community, and we build this kind of connections between us and go deeper each year per year. So we hope to go on with our collaboration because our focus is architecture, is design, is how can we improve people's lives through this kind of practice.
Interesting. So it's such an interesting diverse between architectural backgrounds with our speaker today. So perhaps I can start with Jude. In your experience, should space design be adaptable, and to what extent?
Well, I think that's a great question, and there are so many ways to answer it. I definitely, in our practice, whenever we are engaged in a design process, as much as we can, as much as data we have, we try to be specific in terms of design output, whether that's context-driven, whether that's in terms of materiality. Specificity in design is crucial, and I think it goes back to how adaptive a space can be, but then we now face a question, I think in recent years, with sort of this wave of adaptive reuse of older buildings that have outgrown kind of the purpose that originally it was intent for. We have also taken so many restoration projects that sort of aim, that are considered adaptive reuse projects. So in a sense, we are tackling kind of these, important questions about how can we, construct buildings that would have sort of a longevity, a life cycle that goes beyond perhaps its initial purpose. And I think it's still a question that we are still exploring. And obviously, I think there needs to be some flexibility in terms of the design process to allow the user also to, adapt new uses of the space, because that changes, and we've seen it change from design to tendering in terms of sometimes, the purposes of certain spaces. So, life isn't so rigid. It's sort of interchangeable, and people work and live in different ways as life and time progresses. So I don't know if this answers your question, but I think it's an ongoing discourse.
Exactly, especially within the fast modern pace of life and the change of people's need.
Yes,
it has to have this room of adaptability and
I
flexibility.
think one example is the pavilion in Concentrico. So it was sort of designed and sort of thought of with that site in mind, and it was so specific to that initial courtyard. Yet when we reconstructed it for Tanween and for Ithra, the context of the work really changed, and we were having questions today with Javier and Abdallah from our team, who sort of in terms of what is the future of this work, how can it adapt to new contexts, new sites. So in a sense, we're glad we sort of have this so almost like a fragmentation of a pavilion to really play with and to experiment with.
Exactly, thank you. Javier, from your background as an architect and also as the founder of Concentrico Festival, does the public have an impact on different forms at your designs take, whether it was your designs or the designs you accept at the festival?
Yeah, as we were talking about that during this afternoon, because for us, the client is all the citizens. So the audience is so wide, so different, so that we have to understand them. No? So we started in 2015, and we explained the festival as a conversation between the public who are part of the festival, as you this year,
Yes.
and we as organization of the project. So at the end, we explore how can we use architecture and design as a tool to improve people's lives and improve how the connection between the place where they live and their context. So of course, what they think, what they suggest us, it's important for us. So the festival, as she said, always is changing. It's changing each per year. You saw here some pictures of the different years, because we are exploring new topics, new ways to think about cities, about Logroño, but about the world, because many of the people, many of the new practices of the architectural or design studios are focusing in this kind of social problems and the curiosity, and we need to understand what's the next, what's the future. So we understand that architecture and design could be something to help us. The memories of our cities, as we see in these pictures, of the memories of the vernacular architecture from Saudi as the pavilion from Scene Architects, is a reference for our festival or for our practices. So these pictures connect some new practices like this one from Green Deluxe, from the past, from the idea of how can we celebrate a city, how can we be together in a public space. So what we love is to add new layers of contemporary ideas in the public spaces with the topics of the new generations, as mobility, as how can we rethink about our story, about our community, how can we be together in that way. So this kind of projects moves us to that way, in that way, and connect us to the future.
Yeah. Interesting. Actually, on a personal level, I've experienced this when we were in Concentrico Festival. We were a couple of days before the festival, and we were like just navigating the city before installing a couple of the pavilions. And during the first day of the festival, we passed on one of the public squares a couple of times before the installation of the pavilion. And when it was installed, we noticed that there was a landmark in the space, although we passed through this space a couple of times, but we did not notice that that landmark. So yes, I totally agree with you. So maybe we can move to Dr. Christoph. From your perspective, what could be some ways that we can push our boundaries of architecture?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a very, very important question, because in our work, we are very actively trying to push what architecture can do. And it's stemming a bit from a frustration that we sometimes see, that with the digital design tools that we all have available today, we can very, very quickly, very easily produce spectacular images. But to translate those into the built reality often comes at a high cost. It's not as easy to recreate what we can do in silico in the real world. And in the past decade or so, where a lot of the highly ornamental or maybe wasteful architecture has come about, I think digital architecture has gotten a bit of a bad name, because often it comes at a high economical or sustainability or societal cost in terms of labor cost. So in our work, what we've been doing is try to see how we can still access this excitement that we can find in our latest tools, but then turn it into reality by working with a different set of tools and dealing with materiality in a particular way. So in this installation, for example, I hope the video is going to play. By clicking once more. There we go. Like in this installation, this was a pavilion that was built 12 years ago now. Built in only 11 days. It was up for only 6 days.
Are you sure? 11 days?
Yes. And 400,000 people came to visit it in that period. And this was for the Mid-Autumn Festival in Hong Kong, which is a lantern festival. And it's entirely built just from bamboo, fabric and a bit of steel, which are the materials that you use to make lanterns. And then with computer programming, we generated the geometry, controlled the construction process, and basically gave people access to this unique experience. But it was the first time that we got to deal with a very, very difficult material to work with, like bamboo, which is a natural material, very volatile, dealing with craftsmanship. And so a few years later, we tried to push the boundary in this project here, which was, it's called the ZCB Bamboo Pavilion, which was again a community space, a public outdoor space where events were going to be held. Wow. Again, a limited budget, challenge of craft materiality. And so here we worked with a typical Hong Kong craftsmanship, which is bamboo scaffolding making. So these trained scaffolders, we don't speak the same language, but they know the materials, they know the knots. They together basically wove this giant bamboo basket, which is hyper-performative because of its geometry. So with digital tools, we can draw those, but the challenge is, how do you then actually start to communicate this on site? But what's exciting about these projects is that because these challenges have been addressed, they allow you to show a different type of architectural outcome, which moves people, which is exciting. And that has to remain the center of it. Like in this project, it's a design wasn't built that we did for a festival here in Saudi, actually. By working with the affect and the impact that the spaces and the experiences and the elements have on people, you can really change the value of a design without per se needing to go for very expensive or difficult materials. Like here, we're working with sunlight and reflection and kaleidoscopic effects to create, again, a meeting space where it's the motion of the sun that is actually continuously changing the atmosphere inside. And all these techniques, all these experiences can be simulated. But the challenge lies, how do you then talk to craftspeople? How do you talk to materiality to make it possible in reality in the end?
Interesting. It really highly reflects the building simplicity, and it reminds me of our collaboration in 2021 and the Pavilion Challenge, where Fasila was the winning outcome. You speak about the projects as if it's very simple, but when you look at it, it's very complex. Like, interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Christoph, since you mentioned pavilions, I'd like to ask Javier. Why are pavilions valuable assets for architects?
As I explained before, we started in 2015, and for us, it's important how we change during this time, no? And how we transform ourselves into a new thing. And I want to explore this with some pictures of the same location in Concéntrico during 10 years, no? So how can we change through architecture, and how can we use architecture as a tool to social improvements, as to connect our communities, our world? So this is Plaza Escuelas Trevijano. This is the central place of the city, and we open a call each year to explore this place with the people from the world. You can imagine that we have more than 600 applications from 44 countries coming to explore together this place. And in the last edition, I go to the more recent years, to the beginning of the festival. I go quickly, ask how can pavilions transform the place. Wow. This element from the Brazilian team, or this new area to look inside and divide in somewhere our context, or this one, how can we play with the city or with the colors, doing talks not only in theaters, in the street, and do new conversations with the people. The idea of the pavilion has changed a lot during the festival because we have changed. And people learn with us, and we learn with the people. So at the end, these examples are something that we build, but there are other practices we explore too with the people that combines some way more ideas. How can we share our projects? How can we be permanent in the memories of the people with this tower of taburetes, is seats, as we can see here. This was starting as a big tower, no? A tower talking or making a conversation with the tree in that courtyard. But at the end, was divided in small elements that now are in many houses of the people of the neighborhood. So, how can we change the idea of the pavilion, as a tool to improve different proposals as biodiversity in our cities? These small boxes, it was a big place to mirror your face and to take a photo. But at the end, you can divide in small elements to take and to expand the biodiversity in the city. Or this idea by Ithra, hundreds of chairs for the city, a survey for more than 500 people to think about the city with a design element. And these chairs were done by more than 100 people, designed these elements with the imagine of the city. So architecture and design can be something to improve our lives.
True. And going back to Concentrico Festival, I do really believe that since it's an international festival, that you invite designers and architects from all over the world to come and speak up to the local of Logroño city by building such pavilions to see how people interact with, which is really something interesting. I'd like to go back to Njud. Njud, I'd like to ask you, as a Saudi architect, how would you describe the potential of pavilions in Saudi Arabia?
I mean, the question, sorry, what was the question? About pavilions in Saudi?
How would you describe the potential of pavilions in Saudi Arabia?
I think the question is really interesting because there is a discourse around what is a pavilion in Arabic, in the language. I remember when we were doing a pavilion, the Concentrico Festival, I tried to explain it to my mother. I told her, we're doing this pavilion. So she was like, okay, it's a building. I was like, it's a temporary structure. Yeah. So there isn't an Arabic counterpart to the word pavilion in Arabic. Like, what is a pavilion? Is it mabna? No, it's
جناح. يعني
جناح could mean a lot of things.
True.
So I think the description of what a pavilion is goes back to this sort of, dilemma of not having a translation of it in the Arabic language. And I think this is why I think in Saudi we're still asking, like, can we do pavilions? What is a pavilion? I think we are starting to familiarize ourselves with the term. There are a lot of pavilions in Saudi cities under different names. And this idea of temporality is so linked to pavilions. And this, I think, traces back to the origin of architecture in Saudi, especially in the central region. Nomadic architecture, by definition in this region, was temporal. They were temporary structures set up using very much like the pavilion we did, using fabric and either wood or other materials. So tensile structures by default are in a sense like foldable structures that you could transport and take to different sites. So there is a precedent to this idea of the pavilion. And there is a future for it. It's a continuation, I think, of the timeline. And it's a very interesting form of architecture because it allows the architect to really experiment, to test ideas, to test materials prior to really taking it in a more permanent output. So we very much enjoy designing pavilions, and at Scene, I mean, we've done a few pavilions, and we look at them as, sites of exploration, of research. It's very, fun for us to have also like a quick output for a design. A design of a building could take years. Whereas a pavilion, you could really, I think we've done the concentrical one in a couple of months, I think, or something.
It was very easy and smooth.
It was very smooth. No bumps. But yeah, so it's a great tool, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. At the end, I think the pavilion is like a double language. It is an experimentation for architects for the methodology or the material, and experimentation for the public as a tool to engage with the other people or with the society or with the space the pavilion is built in.
It's very interesting as also like a final output.
Yes.
Maybe it doesn't need to sort of go beyond the pavilion, you know?
True. Dr. Christoph, aside from the pavilions, what could be other ways for architects to experiment? Because architects like to experiment.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's really interesting to hear the lack of that there is a lack of a word in Arabic that fully encompasses what it means in English or in some of the other languages, and even in English or in Dutch, Belgium, where I'm from, there is also different words for prototypes, archetypes, proto-architectural work, or just artwork at large scale, urban scale artwork. But what they all share in common is that it creates this safe place where some type of experimentation can take place that architecture usually doesn't allow for, either because of the scale of it or because of the complexity of it or because of the time that it takes. Like here's a little artwork that we did where we're trying to see what if the facade would actually move? Like, can we create fully kinetic architecture? What is the impact of those things? Like, it would be very complicated and complex to do that at scale, but to do it in a safe environment, that can be quite fun. But so artworks, I think, especially urban scale artworks, are great places to start to experiment. And the beauty, so however you call them, I think it being a playground to test different things from the social to the community engagement to the material to the experiential, it's absolutely essential to have that playground. And I think that's why in the past 10, 15 years, you've seen so many pavilions appear across the world. It's becoming a very important tool of communication and experimentation, because the technology that we have available nowadays is changing so rapidly that very quickly we start to see that there's this great need for experimentation with it. Like, for example, in this pavilion, it was a complex manufacturing system that was simplified, but what we wanted to test here is how can architecture communicate directly with the end user. So the artwork itself became an element that was part of an augmented reality overlay where people could download an app, and the artwork that was inside the museum was then visualized on top of the architecture or on top of the artwork to become an educational tool. So how can buildings become part of content dialogue that museums have? Or in this pavilion that we just did in Bali and in Taiwan, here we're trying to see how we can communicate through augmented reality tools, for example, with craftsmen, a brand new technology. It's been a few years old now, but that hasn't been really tested yet on the ground because architects are usually separated from the builders. So only in a pavilion scale would we have kind of the safe space where we can potentially fail and then learn from it. So this is the fail forward theme that we have here. And so I think pavilions are absolutely crucial, but it's important, at least for us it is, to be very precise about what the contribution is that the pavilions are really looking for, because they become part of a common shared knowledge. There's a shared knowledge and a new knowledge that comes from it that needs to find its way forward. Like in this one, I'll just let it run in the background. A quick example of how machine learning and augmented reality can, for example, be used not just to produce pretty images, but to actually optimize modes of fabrication and construction. So no, I think pavilions are absolutely essential. Whichever aspect of the architectural responsibilities that you're dealing with, whether it's from social to manufacturing, for example, there's a room there, like a safe room to experiment and play.
Interesting. I think for myself and most of the architects, we agree that the pavilions are really a good way of experimenting the architecture in terms of materials and methodologies and so on. Thank you very much for the three of you. But before we end, we're going to challenge your architectural database in a very quick, interactive exercise. But
Which we don't know
perhaps
about.
you need some support. That's why we need the audience to collaborate with our three brilliant architects. Aside from pavilions, we will experience, as I said, your architectural database. So we will be distributing 3 cards, and I'd like for the audience as well to help them.
I'm failing. Sorry.
You might need the help of the public. Okay, I'll stand up so I can explain it very quickly. So we have 3 colors. We have the red color, the blue color, and the yellow color. Please, very quickly, Google the 3 colors through your phones. We will be showcasing 3 different landmarks, global landmarks, architectural landmarks, and based on the color, you will raise where's the location of this landmark is. And we need your support, so please just take a screenshot. I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to take a screenshot for the 3 colors and support them. For example, if it was in Riyadh and the red color, the Riyadh is red color, you raise the red color. If it was in a different city, you raise the blue and then the yellow. Maybe we can start with the first one. Okay. So, do you know this building? This building is located in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. No, we need them to support you first. Okay, that was the practice. Okay, so the 3 of you.
Do we wait?
So what's that building? Maybe we can ask Jude.
Is it the Frank Gehry building in Los Angeles?
Is it the Frank Gehry building?
Disney Concert Hall.
Yeah. Yeah, the Disney concert hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the concert, the Walt Disney Concert Hall, and it's in Los Angeles. Okay, the next building. Is it? Okay, you guys are so good. And what's the building, Javier?
I don't know. It's in Petra, but
It's in Petra.
I remember
What's-
the films. I have
You
to
never,
visit.
you never visited it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find some people from Jordan to take you.
Yeah, it's from
to
Jordan.
visit.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
from Jordan.
صح سهاد, yes.
Okay.
Petra.
It's in Petra. Okay, next. So is it in Madrid, Hong Kong, or Kuwait City, and what is it?
Is it
Yeah.
Kuwait?
Please help them. They look hesitant. Okay, they say yellow.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely not Hong Kong. That's all.
yeah.
So I'm giving you 50-50.
Is it the
yeah,
water
you're
tower?
based in Hong Kong.
Are they with the water tower? Is it Kuwait?
I think she's correct. Yes, it's
Wow,
the,
nice.
the Kuwait Tower.
Kuwait Tower.
Okay,
Nice.
next. Is it in Beijing, Taiwan, or Tokyo?
That,
I'm cheating.
They need help. They need
I have
help.
no idea.
I don't know what's that, but
It's very challenging because it looks like.
please, the next.
Yes,
We
of
want
course.
to know.
Yes, please. Could you tell us
Ah,
what?
it's yellow. It's Tokyo.
Yay, it's in Tokyo.
I kind
Difficult
of was
one.
hesitant.
Okay,
Yeah.
next. This building, we're keeping on challenging you very. Is it in Brussels, New York, or Cleveland? So all of you agree it is in New York.
Empire
I'm from Belgium. It's not in Brussels, I can tell you.
Empire State? No, the Chrysler.
It's the
Chrysler.
Chrysler building in New York.
New
Okay,
York,
next.
New York.
Yeah.
So what's this?
This is the Maraya.
Of course, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Is it-
I'll cheat. I don't know.
Maraya العلا.
I think we all agree it is in Al Ula. Can you show us? Yes, it's
Wow,
Maraya
okay.
in Al Ula.
I'll need to go check that out.
Type next.
That's
Ah,
Doha.
I think.
And this is
I think we all know it. Is it in Doha, Dubai, or Shanghai?
It's
Doha,
the
Jean Nouvel.
It's
Jean Nouvel.
the
National Museum
Qatar
of
Museum.
Yes, it's the
Qatar.
National Museum of
Yes.
Qatar, which is inspired from
Oh,
the
I
desert.
know
cruise.
this.
Okay.
It is the Katzo Tange Mosque. No, this is Oman. Sorry. Yeah,
is it
it's
in
very
Riyadh,
similar to the.
Muscat, or Sharjah?
It's actually Muscat. Yeah,
So what do you think?
it's a mosque in Oman. It looks like the.
Okay, can you please show us? Yes,
Yeah.
it's باب السلام في مسقط. Okay, next.
No, there's one in Riyadh that looks like it. It's by
okay.
Kenzo Tange.
So, I think we all agree that is it in Istanbul, Rome, or Barcelona? And what is it?
Sagrada Familia?
Ooh, maybe. Can
no.
you please help us?
No, it's,
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
in the Spanish
Come
one.
on, you're Spanish.
The old
You
part,
must
the
know
old
it.
part, yeah.
I'm surprising myself.
Oof.
The next building, is it in Konya, Asfahan, or Baghdad?
I need
I
help.
think it's.
think
They need help, please.
Is it
Oh,
Baghdad?
blue, red, yellow.
Oh, I see
All the
blue,
colors.
I
audience
see
doesn't
red,
know
I
either.
see yellow.
I see 2 yellows.
Okay, Katya, I think
2
we need
blues,
help.
2 reds. Oh, blue, more blue. What?
It's in Konya.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I know it's not Baghdad or Asfahan. But I was like, it's the odd one.
Yes.
But I've never seen
Okay. The next building, is it in Amman, Damascus, or Samarra?
It's the tower in Samarra.
Okay. You seem to know I follow.
I think we all agree that it is in
Yeah.
Samarra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It's the Malawi Mosque. Okay. The next building, is it in Copenhagen, Prague, or
Could
Budapest?
it be Copenhagen?
That's
Copenhagen.
everything else in Copenhagen.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Javier disagree with them. Is it Copenhagen or
Not
Prague?
sure.
Come on, you have a couple of seconds to change your mind.
I'm
I
winging.
I see the red color in the seats.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
in
the Vietnam house,
Copenhagen.
but everything else, yeah.
Okay, next.
Ah.
That's a very hard question. That's a very hard question.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
We're not done yet?
Oof.
We're not done yet?
Okay.
So the next building, is it in Marrakesh, Cordoba, or Tunis?
I need help.
It's Someone needs help here, please.
Red,
I think it's
yellow,
Cordoba. It might be Marrakesh,
No,
but
Cordoba,
I
no,
think it's
Cordoba, no.
Cordoba.
blue.
Red.
Oh. See all the colors of the rainbow in the
All
audience.
cities have similar.
More red. Okay.
It's either Marrakesh or Cordoba,
Or
but I think
Cordoba.
Cordoba.
Right. So what do you think?
The audience
Okay,
centers on
Sultan
red.
thinks that it's in Cordoba. Who else? Now we have red over there.
Red and blue and a bit of yellow.
It could be.
Cordova is
And yellow, and we
Cordova
have
is
yellow.
not Cordova.
There's one yellow there.
Katya, can you help us, please?
It's not.
Yellows.
It's in Marrakesh.
Hey.
Um,
Wow.
Okay. Another challenging question.
That's
Marrakesh,
Seville.
Seville, or
Could be.
Tunis?
Yeah, I think it's.
Sevilla.
I think it.
Is that the
There is,
Cordoba?
but I'm
It looks like
questioning my.
Seville, right? So what do you think?
Questioning everything.
No, we have another
My
opinion.
architectural
People think
apologies.
that it is in Marrakesh. It's in Seville.
Oh, some disagreement there. Tunis.
Tunis?
Casa Pilatos.
Oh, look at
Come on, you're Spanish. For sure you know.
Casa
Pilatos.
It's Seville.
It's similar.
It's similar. Seville have a couple of similar palaces, right?
Wow.
Okay. The next building, is it in Brussels, Vienna, or Rome? What do you think?
Well,
This is where my
Ah.
knowledge goes south. Yeah.
it's not Brussels.
Could be.
It's not. It must be Rome. It's
Must be
San
Rome,
Pietro,
yeah.
maybe.
Vienna?
Say Rome.
Okay,
Vienna.
Francisco over
Vienna?
here says it's from Vienna.
Good.
And he's
Could be.
Italian, perhaps.
Okay. Then we're changing. No, I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
It's not Brussels.
It's not Brussels.
Yeah.
But perhaps Vienna, perhaps Rome. Let's
It's
see
not
if
Rome?
Francisco's
It's
correct.
not Rome.
Oh!
None of us.
Oh,
So
okay. Clearly, I've been gone way too long.
Okay. Can we have the next one, please? Or we're done? We're done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice way to end it.
It was my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.